What's up guys, Striđa here and welcome to another video. Today we're gonna be discussing about the January transfer window. The transfer window is officially closed and not a lot of big transfers happened during it. Clubs are noticeably feeling the effects of COVID on their finances and being more reserved on splashing out the cash. But still, even under these circumstances, there were a lot of interesting deals done, and here's my take and rating on each of the Premier League clubs' transfer window. Arsenal, 9 out of 10. Arsenal did what they needed to do. They needed a backup goalkeeper to Leno, and they got Matt Ryan. He replaces Runarsson as the backup and he's levels above him. They also needed an attacking midfielder to compete with Emil Smith-Rowe, who is too young to be expected to play every week. Odegaard came in on loan and he has been one of the best creators last season for Real Sociedad. He has been injured this season and also out of favor under Zidane, who has been notorious for not giving young players a chance. Just look at Jovic, Hernandez and Mariano. The Gunners also cleared out the dead wood in the defense. Kolasinac, Socrates and Mustafi all left, and they even got rid of Ozil. Everyone was calling for Ozil to leave for a couple of years now, and this is a good move for the player and the club. Ozil obviously going to Fenerbahce. Arsenal even sent out some youngsters on loan like Willock and Maitland-Niles to Newcastle and West Brom respectively. An almost perfect transfer window for Arsenal, 9 out of 10. Only thing stopping them from having a 10 out of 10 is that Odegaard's deal has no option to buy. Aston Villa, 6 out of 10. Aston Villa have had a decent transfer window. One notable midfielder in and one out. They signed Morgan Sanson from Marseille and he has been one of their best players for 2 to 3 seasons now. Marseille are also currently in chaos, so Villa could swoop in and sign the Frenchman for only 14 million. The only notable exit was Conor Hurrihan to Swansea on loan. Decent transfer window, yeah, 6 out of 10. Brighton, 3 out of 10. Brighton's only signing was Caicedo from the Ecuadorian side Independiente del Valle for 5 million. At 19 years old, the midfielder is a risk-free signing for a small fee, and he should be good for them. Haven't seen a lot of him yet, but it surely can't go much wrong for only 5 million. Notable exits have been Bernardo to Salzburg, Matt Ryan to Arsenal, and Glenn Murray to Nottingham Forest. 3 out of 10. Burnley, 3 out of 10. Burnley did nothing this window. Expected, because they did nothing in the summer too. They trust their team and most importantly their coach Sean Dyche, who has been constantly overperforming for his budget and the talent of his players. The aim every season is to not get relegated. They're not gonna get relegated, so yeah, 3 out of 10, because they kept all of their most important players. Chelsea, 4 out of 10. Chelsea just cleared some dead wood, and not even dead, but rotten wood actually, sending Drinkwater, Baba Rahman and Piazon out of the club. They also loaned out the youngster Tomori to AC Milan for some game time. The Serie A leaders actually don't have the best center backs, and Tomori should get some nice game time there and some experience from the likes of Kjaer and Romagnoli. It's a smart move for Tomori because he's behind the likes of Thiago Silva, Zuma, Christensen and Rudiger in the pecking order at Chelsea, so yeah. All in all, a good transfer window, 4 out of 10. Crystal Palace, 4 out of 10. Palace desperately needed a striker because Batshuayi and Benteke are horrible. They got Mateta on loan from Mainz until the end of the season. The Frenchman has been great for Mainz this season, scoring 7 goals in 15 Bundesliga games for a team who's actually second bottom in the table. And he looks like a decent young striker who also likes to link up play, which is good for Zaha and Eze. With the only notable exit being Max Meyer, who has been released from the club, it's been a decent transfer window for Crystal Palace, 4 out of 10. Everton, 5 out of 10. Everton's only signing has been Joshua King on deadline day. The Norwegian is going to be a decent backup to Calvert-Lewin, and this is a good signing overall. Exits include Tosun, Lossell, Bolassi and Jojo Kenny. Tosun has become a growing headache, so it's good he left, and King is levels above him. Everton maybe need a bit more cover in midfield, especially if James gets injured again, but they should be fine. 5 out of 10. Fulham, 1 out of 10. Fulham needed to strengthen more if they are to survive in the Prem, and only adding Maja while selling Knockaert, Seri and Lemachad is not good enough. They are 9 points away from safety, and I don't see them bridging the gap with a transfer window like this. 1 out of 10. Leeds, 3 out of 10. Leeds sit 11th in the table and didn't really need to sign anyone this month, and they haven't, so yeah, 3 out of 10, simple. Leicester, 2 out of 10. Leicester have been flying high this season in 4th and are likely to secure at least Europa League football. Didn't really need any players for the starting 11, just a backup for the striker Jamie Vardy. Even though Vardy is excellent, he's 34 now and should at least have a decent backup. And don't tell me the backup is Kelechi Iheanacho, he's just not good enough to be a backup, and the team drops so much in quality when he plays over Jamie Vardy. Leicester sold Slimani and Gray. So yeah, 2 out of 10 window. Liverpool, 7 out of 10. Liverpool did exactly what they needed to do. They had a problem in central defense with Van Dijk, Gomez and Matip all suffering long-term injuries and are likely to miss the rest of the season. So they went into the market and got Kabak from Schalke on a loan with an option to buy for just 25 million euros in the summer. I already covered how good Kabak is, and he is an excellent piece of business for a very low fee. The reigning champions also signed Ben Davies to provide some extra cover because they desperately need it. Minamino left to Southampton on loan to get some more game time, which is a good deal. Yeah, a 7 out of 10 window. Manchester City, 5 out of 10. City did nothing this window and they actually didn't need to do anything. They need a left back but are doing fine currently without it and are flying high with 8 wins in a row. The citizens maybe needed a striker, but Aguero should be back soon enough and will only boost their title hopes. 5 out of 10. Manchester United, 5 out of 10. United signed an unknown winger from Atalanta called Diallo. The Ivorian should be risk-free and a player for the future. He also started brilliantly for the under-23 teams with a couple of goals and assists in 2 games already. The Devils got some deadwood like Fosso Mensah and Rojo out on permanent deals to Bayer Leverkusen and Boca Juniors. Jesse Lingard and Chong also left on loans to West Ham and Club Brugge respectively and should at least get some game time before being sold. 5 out of 10. Newcastle, 2 out of 10. Newcastle got in Joe Willock on loan and got DeAndre Yedlin out of the club. Nothing to say here, Newcastle have been playing horrible football this season and actually are the second worst team to watch after West Brom in my opinion. Joe Willock should add some creativity to the midfield, but they are still a horrible team to watch, and yeah, these moves just will not change that enough. 2 out of 10. Sheffield United, 1 out of 10. Sheffield needed some players to boost their survival hopes at least a little bit. They signed no one and have basically surrendered and are preparing for the championship. 1 out of 10 for the Blades. Southampton, 3 out of 10. The Saints have been playing decent this season and are comfortable in mid-table. Just ignore the recent Manchester United result. They got Minamino on a loan and got Valery and the cult hero Shane Long out of the club. The Saints didn't really need a signing other than Minamino and they just didn't get one. 3 out of 10. Spurs, 2 out of 10. Spurs didn't really need to sign anyone and actually needed to sell the likes of Dele Alli and Harry Winks. I will also chuck Eric Dyer in there as a player they needed to sell. Even though he has a lot of game time, he's just horrible every time he plays, and yeah, no amount of game time can change that. They didn't get rid of them or signed anyone and only got some minor players like Troy Parrott and Gazzaniga out on loans to Ipswich and Elche. One notable transfer this month has been the booting of Pochettino's son Mauricio to Watford on a permanent deal. All in all, a 2 out of 10 window for Spurs. West Bromwich Albion, 2 out of 10. After appointing Sam Allardyce, you would think West Brom would go in the market and get him some players. No. West Brom needed some major signings, especially in the defense, to stay up, but they got no one. The only players they got in have been Snodgrass from West Ham and Maitland-Niles from Arsenal on loan. Their chances of staying in the Prem are looking very slim now, and after the 2-1 loss to Sheffield United, they are all but relegated at this point. 2 out of 10. West Ham, 6 out of 10. West Ham had a decent transfer window. They made the Behrama transfer permanent, which is a great piece of business, and Lingard also joined on loan, and I think he will be good for them and will push Pablo Fornals for a starting position. Lingard actually scored a brace on his debut and looks motivated to play football again. West Ham are currently flying high in 5th place and pushing for Europe. The only position in a need of signing is the striker position after the Hammers moved Haller on to Ajax. What a start Haller has had, by the way. 2 goals and 4 assists in his first 6 games. Just wow. But yeah, West Ham needed a backup to Antonio and they didn't get it, so it is a 6 out of 10 for me. Wolves, 6 out of 10. Wolves needed a striker after Raul Jimenez's horrid head injury. The Mexican is doing well now after his skull fracture but won't be back on the pitch this season, so getting in a player like Willian Jose was vital for them. Willian Jose has been an inconsistent striker for Real Sociedad, but he will certainly be better than the 18-year-old Fabio Silva, who is not ready for being the only striker at a Premier League club. The Brazilian has been decent in his first 3 games and even won a penalty in the Wolves' win against Arsenal. The exits include Ruben Vinagre and Patrick Cutrone, so basically nothing to cover there. It's a 6 out of 10 for Wolves. All in all, we can see that COVID shook up the transfer window really badly. Most teams made few or no signings this month, and especially the clubs towards the end of the table. This transfer window felt so uncharacteristic as a lifelong football fan, and I hope that the transfer sagas and big sums and just the normal transfer window resume as soon as possible. So, what did you think about the transfer window? Who do you think had the best January out of all the Premier League teams? Who is the best and worst signing in your opinion? Tell me all of this in the comments below and let's have a discussion about this. Also tell me what you think about the video and what more videos I should do for the channel. Like and subscribe if you liked it, and yeah, see ya!